Ladies and gentlemen, here we have a wooden artifact. The head of it has fallen off, but this is the head of the bird there. And we can try to stick them back together a little bit. Not sure even, I think that's probably how the head went. But this is a charred piece of wood that has the same black speckling on it that these stones that are in this area have. They all have this black speckle on half of them, on half the side of the stone. Pardon me. I'm just really excited because this is damning evidence right here. This is showing, and you can see how if there was a head on here, this is resembling a bird when you put it up into the air like that. And there's a few of these. They also have little human characters on them as well. But there's a few of these wooden artifacts that have popped up. But I don't think I've seen the black speckles on them just like what is on the stones. And so what does that right there, is that evidence of what we're trying to do here? I think it is. I think it's very good evidence if you think about it. So it's surprising to me that all these painted stones came up and no one even thinks or thought about it. They're just like, okay, there are a bunch of weird crystals, and yeah, sure, they all have black speckled paint all over them. And they came out of the ground like this. So what's going on with all the black speckles on just one half of all these? Even if you can't see any of the art yet, right? Why does this area specifically have that on there? Just something to think about, guys. I think it's really a fantastic find. If you'd like, we can go ahead and take a look at a few since I got you on the horn here. I hope everyone's doing good. I am trying not to get my hopes up about every little thing. You know, it's tough. Been doing this for a while and everyone's like, yeah, I can help you. Or I've talked to this person, they said they can help. And I've gotten my hopes up and so many times that it's kind of worn me out. These colored stones in here, these are going to be really pretty. But I'm not going to dig that out of there right there. I'll take a look at this. It's just a modern brick, okay. Here's some big ones that we can take a peek at. On the edges of the sites are where a lot of the big ones end up as they push them over. And it's hard to damage these. When they're damaged, you can easily see it. Look what they did to this one. They put all kinds of holes in this crystal. They like to make this shadowy art, so the shadows make up the art. This is going to be a higher level one. This might be one of the wooden artifacts. It is one of them. So this is another bird head. It's a burnt, charred piece of wood. And it's going to have a handle. And on this, I think it's this end. Even though it's frayed, look at it, it's burnt. This whole end here was supposed to be sticking out. They designed it and fashioned it, and you hold it in your hand. And when you hold it in your hand like this, the beak will be pointing forward. I could try to fix it. Here. Oh, we're doing this together, guys, so give me a break. It looks like a big bird head to the right, you guys can see. Look at the beak, and if you look at the shading in the paint perhaps, or the shadows, you can see how they try to resemble a bird head going this way. And so in their ceremonies and stuff, they would hold, sorry, I'm going to try to show you the whole thing. They'd hold things like this. I have a few more. I don't expect you to believe me right off the bat. I really don't. But I'm telling you right now, this charred, burnt piece of wood is an artifact. And there's probably tons of it. I bet you this stuff right here, yeah. This too. This whole thing right here is a big, giant artifact. Looks like a root, right? Roots don't get burned like this. And it may be a root. It probably is a root. But it was burned and charred and carved and made into art, packed in clay, and preserved as carefully as possible. It even has a dang rock stuck in it. Even put a rock in it. Like they wedged, you can kind of obviously see the way they did it. They wanted us to know they couldn't write us a message that says, hey, we're here. They didn't speak English. We got to understand this stuff, guys. You guys got to understand this stuff. I know you do. But I want the world, I want the United States citizens, you guys got to wake up and understand that they're just, I don't think they know about it. I don't think they know about it at all. But once you see it, you can see the way they did this wood. And they put these birds in the end of the woods here. Look at the carvings, and it's not just happenstance that everything is like this out here. As much as I wish it were. Let me go ahead and pick this up by the handle and let it sing its song out here. It's got the rock in there for the other bird's eye, it looks like. Let's go ahead and get a shot of that. Oh, sorry if I'm moving it around too much. And just so that you guys could see it in the shadow there. And isn't that crazy? Oh, I'm about to fall over, sorry. Oh my gosh. All right. There's our hawk up there. I guess I signaled him. He's flying right over us. Yep. He's like, what's going on, dude? Did you call me? Did you call me? So I want you also just to look at the wood, the way it comes back into each other. This is a common theme that we're going to see over and over again, where they were grafting the wood. They were creating loops and welding it back into each other. And so they were trying to show us, and this is the char. You can see the burn. And you char wood in order to preserve it. This is red inside. I can't tell if it's cedar or not. I'm not sure. But sorry for the wind, guys. Now here again, let's interpret it together. It is a root. It's a charred root. Oh, it's got another, see, they put another rock right in the loop this time down here. And it's going to be multiple images. It's not just one thing. It's going to be a few things, but we're looking on the left-hand side, and you can see the way the carving is done for the eye, or the way they left the parts of in there for the eye. And there's actually in that dark spot that we're kind of zooming in on there, that's a carving in a burnt section of an eye that's carved into this. But if you look down it, the way that we're looking at it here, you can see the way even the roots and things, some of them might be a little mangled and they might have been in a different position. But they dressed this up with its own little handle down here with what looks to be like, yeah, some kind of piece of crystal in there with char and ashes all around it. You see the burned material? There's actually forensic evidence here. So if you don't believe me, leave it in the comments. But here we can see the way the face is done. Let me open this up maybe just a little bit, unless it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be folded down like that. That piece of wood, you can see the way it's done. It's not, it was cut and chopped and then folded down. And so that the shadow would hit it and make it look like what it is. Look at, you can see the neck and everything, the way they did this. It almost looks real. To me, it does. And on the end here, as weird as it is, I'll save you from that. I thought this left side, or this other bird head here, is better. But there's some of that burnt stuff. You guys can see it's bark, but the bark is cooked. Wish you could see. So that is interesting. One giant bird here, and this beak, like we said, this beak goes right there for this guy's head. And I mean, please tell me this is too. It is. It is. 100%. I can tell how light it is. It's got a bird blasted right on the top of it here, carved in with its beak. This is amazing. Okay. You guys can see the way the tail is done. It's just emblazed on the wood. We're gonna see the bird here, the way they frayed it. This is a piece of cedar, it's red cedar. But the way that they frayed the wing for this bird right here, it's a cardinal, and it may have gotten just a little bit of damage when it got dug up, but it was already this size. And so they just picked it up and moved it over. It's still very well preserved. You said this is a big piece of cedar, very, very large piece. I see a silhouette of a person here with this being the nose, and we can see the carvings in the eye. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna find stones and rocks and things in that as well. There's gonna be another bird head poking here with its little tuft. You can see how it looks like a raven. Wish I could see my screen a little better so I could point at it better. Jeez. Sorry guys, it's a little bright. You guys can see it, I think. No, you can't, but now you can. It looks probably best from over here. And we might have already looked at that one. No, there's a different one. There's a bunch of them. The other one we looked at is on the other side. So what do you do with this? You pick it up. It's got a flat. No, it doesn't have a flat bottom. How do you hold this thing? I don't want to grab it from there. I don't want to lean it on that side either. I'll lean it on this side. Let's take a look at it. So you guys know what a totem pole is, right? This is the North Carolina version. That's what this is. You can see all the carvings in this cedar. The way they broke it down and threaded it and weaved it. It's like they raked it. And if you're looking for the burn marks and the char marks, it's right there. And again, here's how they made the person. Remember, we looked at this. Oh, it's going to be so hard to show. This is the person. One leg right here on the left leg, and then the right leg is done. It's a person, and it's going to be a person running somehow, or maybe just a body, but these are going to be legs. I'm exhausted, guys. This is so much to take in. So the whole thing facing to the right, I'm going to look for like the whole bird as well. We can see how just the top, see how the beak of it and the hole and how the crest is done. I should brush that off. And then it has the stacked birds. They're carved right in. I shouldn't be pushing that back into the mud. I've got a brush. There's probably tons of these things. We've barely gone a few feet. This one too. Another piece of cedar by itself with huge spiders on it. And a giant toad. I'm sorry, Mr. Toad. But there's small ones as well, of course. We can see here. This one still has dye on it, it looks like. It has a bird head on top. Guys, I'm getting so tired of interpreting. I'm just gonna show you and point. I'm running on steam right now. This is insane. All right, let's look at this without getting a trip to the hospital. So again, the same kind of thing where they're going to create the bird head up there when you hold it. Yes. Oh my. So they left this poke out for the eye. We can see the crest. Done. And you can see the beak. The only reason I think that you might not be able to see it is if you just don't believe it. It's like, how can you claim this? Well, all these pieces of cedar are just loose and burnt and charred and in the ground, and some of them have rocks put into them. This whole bird head is carved very exquisitely. I can see the way it's done. It might have had some more. It had a big branch here. I bet you it was part of the feathers. Look at the tail. But it's gone now. There's another bird head here with the bird's eye positioned right here. And also to the left, it's going to be a bird head as well. And of course, where the bird's eye is supposed to be, the location of the eye. You guys can see what I'm saying with this, the eye here with all the orange. I might have been wrong about that. They might have left this orange or painted it orange. Inside of this, you can see the diamond that's in here. It's a piece of clay. It's a piece of that shale. It's that goddamn shale again. They stuck the shale in there to represent the bird's eye. And there's also a beautiful clay in here that's red. This whole thing is designed, and there's going to be characters and things all over it. Oh, love to get one of these out of the ground without it being ripped apart, like doing a proper excavation of getting one of these out. It'd be fantastic. Because this was a ceremonial thing that they did. And they lived in nature, and people got weird about me showing the bark. I got a lot of comments like, it's a piece of bark. I'm like, well, you expect it to be made out of plastic then, right? Here again, we have the torso. These are parts of bodies when you see them in certain directions. That's why they're all showing you the split there. But these are going to be harder to interpret. This one's full of ants, and the reason why it has ants in it probably is because they stuffed it with organic material and things. But I would love to come back for this one. Here's a fantastic one. You can see the left side bird right here, and with the tail that they left all the roots. I guess this is cedar roots, you know. They were probably harvesting the cedar, and when they harvest something, they used everything. They used every single bit of it. And in the eye of this bird, there's a few different eyes. But of course, same exact thing. They're going to have stuffed inside of here rocks and crystals. See all the crystals that are stuffed in there? And there's a big, it's all burnt and charred. And we can hold it here, I think. And get a shot of it like this. Perhaps it's going to probably be better on the right. I'm not sure. There's a human on the right. What a weird art. It's cool though. I mean, I can completely understand it. They made it out of what they had. They made it out of nature. And they didn't want to modify it like heavily. Not because it was a bother to do that. It's not because it was a problem to modify it heavily. They just wanted it to be, nothing was more beautiful than nature, I think. So they just, I feel so bad about just dropping that, but. Now this is just a stick with bark all over it. And it doesn't have jack on it. It's just a broken stick from what I can see. And there's plenty of those that you can find out in the woods and stuff. But when it comes fresh out of this clay, tons of these worked little preserved pieces of wood. Well, geez, that took the cake. So whoever made those cedar artifacts, so you can see they're all kind of similar. So they're probably only going to be located in this little area. And I can already see that there's a bunch more back here that they just threw back here. You know, of course they did. They didn't know. I'm not trying to say anything that they did something wrong. They didn't know. This is the ruins of one. It's pretty badly damaged. But again, it's charred and burnt, so I know it's one. And this one really does come to life, I think, from pretty far away when you look at it like this. And if someone were to hold this, that person would have to be very, very large. Like if you were going to handle this one, you'd have to, especially when it was fresh and not all dry like it is. But they dried it. That's how they burnt it. They toasted it. They charred it. They charred it, y'all. Amazing. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.